Sing the song. Sing the song.
What song, man?
The True Detective song. Come on, one more time. What time is it now?
Wrote a letter this morning. Tell me, how do you reckon it read? Said, hurry, man. I messed it up.
Wow, what a botch that was.
That was great. That's why I'm not a singer, dude. I don't know what I am. See, I'm not even that.
Yeah, whatever that means.
Moving on.
Moves on. Wow, here we are. Episode 8 of the...
Finally, after this stretch of 19 years, we're finally done with the Purcell
It feels like the show started like 8 months ago.
It does, doesn't it?
But, hey. What a ride. What a journey. We're journeymen.
Yeah.
Shout out to the moms. She saw every episode with me.
Correct.
She enjoyed all of it.
Nice.
The finale, episode 8 of season 3. Now,
Yeah, go ahead.
Now am found.
Yeah.
Am found. Not I'm found. Am found. I don't know. I see what you're doing there, Nick Pizza. I see what you're doing. I don't know, but I see.
Yes. Well, thanks, Nick, for just constantly throwing red herrings in our face. I just watched 8 episodes of Red Herrings, and then some Wayne and Roland, essentially.
Some purple, yeah. Now, this episode was an hour and the longest episode of the season, as you'd expect. Expectations of this, I mean, we didn't expect everything to be answered because we thought this was a very character-driven season.
Yep.
And by the way, we'll talk about how we felt about the whole season in general after we talk about the episode. But I think our prediction came true, but we also did get a lot of answers.
Oddly enough.
I'm gonna let me say
Go ahead.
some things.
Say things.
So I knew that from as soon as it ended, took me a couple minutes to I knew because Twitter has its bipolar moments.
Sure.
Reddit is the more sane version of people, or people that just comment.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So yeah, because you
haven't checked all of Reddit.
You're the right one.
No, you haven't checked all of Reddit.
That's your fault. So I knew that there was going to be a very mixed response.
Every finale should be mixed response.
Yeah,
there's no finale that should satisfy everybody.
I mean, Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad is kind of like the only finale I know that everyone kind of enjoyed.
Yeah, I guess so. It wasn't as huge, I think, as like this has become.
True Detective?
Yeah. I don't think so.
I don't know. That's a debate for another time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's just like, it's in a different space now, man. Like, Twitter's all the way up everyone's ass.
Yeah.
Like, Twitter wasn't this huge in 2013.
Yeah, you're right.
Who the hell was there to chat shit in 2013?
Yeah, no one was chatting shit.
Yeah. There's too few avenues to chat shit.
It's crazy. For me, the most perfect ending, which is Breaking Bad, is the one that there was no noise at the time.
Yeah.
Could you imagine like a perfect ending now?
The people would have found. I mean, as it should be. Again, I don't think I've come to the conclusion that everything I love, an equal amount of people are going to hate, and that's fine. That's cool.
In my opinion, if your finale doesn't entice conversation, there was something wrong with it.
Yeah.
So I knew that either people were going to either hate it for the wrong reasons that people usually do, hate finales, or people were going to be like, smart. This is how it should have ended. Again, I wasn't expecting a shootout. I know there's some people that are just like, oh, wasn't enough action. That's the generic fan base that just be like, well, it was kind of slow. I'm going to exclude those people. That being said, I liked it.
Okay.
There were some aspects that I didn't like, and there's some things that I prefer would have happened.
Okay.
But in general, as a finale, I really enjoyed it. I really did. I think Nick Pizza did what he wanted to do and not what everyone else wanted. And I think it says a lot about it. I'm just guessing. Hopefully you feel the same way about me. I think you would. I mean, we're going to find out in a few seconds.
Oh, yeah.
But very proud of the season after last season. It did its own thing, and I think it came together full circle. There were some minor bumps on the way, but I think we got a satisfying conclusion to a return to form season.
Yeah. I didn't watch season 2, so I don't know what form it felt.
I thought you were going to say I didn't watch the finale. I'm like, what?
Yeah, this is just me chatting shit now. I don't even watch shit. No, I didn't watch season 2 because it did not draw me in, apparently, from all the murmurs. But I will say this. This episode, I had to sit a little bit after and let it marinate because...
Like steak.
Like what?
Like steak.
Like steak. It's just steak of True Detective because it's such an episode that I wasn't expecting for multiple reasons.
Oh yeah.
So in a way, I didn't want to fire off my first thoughts and let that sort of be the anchor for everything that followed after it, because I think after you watch something, that first reaction you have usually becomes the basis of your opinion, and so it takes a while then to change it. So I didn't want to almost form my opinion that way, and so really after I watched the episode, I watched a couple of reactions on YouTube. I read a couple articles today in the morning, and I was like, okay, well, where do I fall in all this? So okay, there's some things in this episode that are very wrong that I have huge problems with.
So are we in the same boat, technically?
A little bit, yeah, okay. Probably, yeah. So there's some really big issues I have with this. It basically boils down to 3 things, or rather 2 things. Number 1 is a just lack of adherence to any cohesiveness in cuts. This shit cuts back and forth. We have 5 timelines in this episode. Yeah. So in one episode, I'm meant to keep track of Mahershala Ali's hair in 5 different places. Like, come on now. Come on. It's an hour and 20 minutes, 5 different timelines. I get it that in the last timeline, we see him very briefly, and in the timeline where he sees his wife in what seems to be a college is very brief. I get that. But still, the reason we thought the 80s timeline had ended was because of the end of the case there, and so we thought it would have been wrapped up. However,
we got more.
Yeah, I will talk about how it turned into a positive, kind of. Okay. Right. Number 1, that was a big issue I had. Number 2, the exposition in this episode.
We'll talk about that.
It's through the goddamn roof.
Okay.
It's through the roof, and it's a little bit too lazy, in my opinion. I understand what he was trying. I think I understand what he was trying to go for, in the sense that he wanted the surprise to basically be not a surprise. I get that, right? And it's a little bit Star Wars Episode 8, sort of pulling the rug under you. Okay. You weren't expecting it, that sort of thing. Now, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because I said this in the beginning of the season. This is not going to be about the case. I didn't think it was going to be about the case, and it ended up not being about the case. Now, people who are going to be upset about that have a right to be upset about that, because True Detective pushes itself, given the first 2 seasons, or let me say given the first season, it's about the case, right? Mm-hmm. So this was a season that took the case, put it into second sort of importance, and pushed up the characters, right? And made it about the characters. And ultimately, this last episode, if you remove, I want to say about, it's split 70-30% towards being about Wayne. Mm-hmm. And 30% being about the case, right? So in this way, I think Nick tries to wrap up not only what happened to the girl, but also what's happening to Wayne, right? Whereas I think in the first season, you wrap up what happens kind of in the case, not really, and then kind of between the two of them, not really, right? So the first one leaves you in a cliff on both aspects, I felt, right? I didn't feel too satisfied really about the characters. And in that last moment, that's sort of cheapish line about, lights beating dark, blah, 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 okay. And of course, there's this mystery still existing, right? However, it made sense in the first season because of the themes they explored, and that's cool. In this season, they're exploring different themes. And so, in a sense, people should, I guess, perhaps have seen it coming a little bit, in the sense that there's a lot of work that goes on in 8 episodes to put Wayne at the forefront and not the case. We have had several episodes this season where it's been zero stuff about the case. Nothing. And it's just been about character development. So, in that sense, I'm not surprised, and I'm happy he went out in that way, right? However, in that process, in this sort of emphasis that he put on the characters, he had to wrap up the mystery as well. And the way he wraps it up, I feel, is very, very, I don't want to say cheap or lazy, but it's very rushed.
So the exposition was a big part. Because when I saw it, that scene where they're talking to the one, Junius.
Yeah, Junius.
Yeah. It explained everything, literally everything.
Yeah.
And
I kept thinking he's lying. We're gonna figure out something else later.
Yeah, and there is a twist, technically, kind of.
Yeah, but it's not about the case.
It's not.
Yeah.
I just don't know. This could be you could kind of like blame this on them for backing themselves into a corner, but I don't know how else they would have answered all these questions.
No, because I told you can't make it about some huge conspiracy again. It can't be that. Like, it can't be the exact same thing as the first season.
Which I'm kind of glad that they kind of minimized it.
Yeah, absolutely. But that also means now you can't have a grand mystery to the end, right? Yeah. Like what other way were you going to make it grand if it wasn't some big time conspiracy shit? You couldn't, right? Unless there was going to be some stupid twist like the mom did it or some bullshit. You couldn't do it any other way. Right? So I think, the only reasonable manner of ending this was to say, this is just a one-off shitty story about, people who were just hurting, people who had money and took advantage of other people, and that's that. But there's no huge monster in the room that you have to deal with like in the first season, right? I think that first season left people wanting an exploration of that crazy shit.
No, you're not. You can't, because
I don't think so. There's a great video by Wisecrack on this. They explore the philosophy of True Detective, and it's like 30 minutes, and it's really good. I saw it a couple weeks ago. It's really, really solid. But essentially, it points to this idea that the first season basically explores what absurdism and what this cosmic horror is in the first season, right? And how within this piece or within that genre, you can't really achieve an ending. You can't come to conclusions just because of the nature of the genre. And so that's why that first season, the ending made sense in a way. This is, again, just someone's perspective, right? So it made sense. It fit. Just like in this one, I think it's not about cosmic horror. It's not about crazy shit that we can't see that we're afraid of. It's not about that. It's about Wayne looking at himself, trying to understand who he is, right? And in a sense, and this is where I think the episode excels in, Wayne does three times in this episode, he looks within himself to understand how to move forward. Here's the 3 times. In the 80s version, he does it when he asks his wife to marry him.
Oh,
he asks Amelia to marry him, which ends up being the last scene before Vietnam.
Yeah.
Right? In the 90s version, he does it at the bar, where he's with her after he meets Hoyt, he meets Amelia, and he basically says what we've been saying.
I'm very glad they acknowledged it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, because it's so on the nose. If it's so on the nose that it's not about their relationship. Their relationship has been built on everything but themselves. It's been on the case. Yeah. And so he says it out loud. And so I'm glad that they're able to clear the air on that account. And he says he's going to quit, and so he's going to move on. So again, that's the second time he reflects on who he is before he moves forward. And then the third time is when he's sitting on, that what is it? The porch.
Jeez.
The porch, and he has this flashback to Vietnam where he physically turns back on who he was.
Yeah.
Right? So it's this idea of the full circle. Not only is it a full circle of we get to see Wayne, the earliest version of him that we've ever seen, the earliest version of his relationship as a husband and wife, but we also see how those early versions lead up to who he is now and how they all exist together at the same time, right? I think this full circle idea that we had in the first season, this about time being a full circle and, the implications of what it means if you're a physicist and a philosopher, blah, blah, blah. That's cool. It's grand. It's great. But in this season, Nick takes this idea of the full circle and he brings it down to an individual scale. And he says, what does that mean to an individual to say you exist? Different versions of you exist within you at all times, right? And we get different clips of that throughout the season of different Waynes looking at each other, right? Yeah. And we get it in this last episode as well. So it feeds this idea of, you're never done growing, looking, moving forward, looking back, all that shit. You're constantly in being throughout time, throughout your existence. So I thought that was extremely well done, right?
Yeah.
The Roland bit I really loved. I saw him sort of come together. I wish we would have gotten more an understanding of why he ended up being the way he ended up being. We get some glimpse of that, but it seems to be that the guilt of Tom killing himself drove him to this, almost self-punishing sort of place.
But I like that they show that the reason why they went their separate routes, or like the trigger, because it's Hayes' convo with Amelia.
Yeah,
he's just like, all right, let's move forward, let's quit our jobs or whatever.
Yeah,
and then it's that bar fight where he realizes he's alone.
Yeah,
and then the stray dog comes in.
Yeah, and that's where.
Yeah, that's me in a few years. I'm not gonna lie.
Why not? Dogs ain't that bad.
So I like how they showed that's how they all ended up.
Yeah, where they ended up. And I think what's also key in this is the scene with his wife in between 1990 and 2015.
Ooh, yeah.
I think gives you closure in the fact that they were able to mend their relationship and move forward, because he seems to be going quite out of his way to see her, right? And so there's that they're happy and that everything's fine with them. And then you get some very, very sweet moments between Roland and Wayne as well. I think their relationship is the star of this season. I absolutely love Dorf now. I want to see him in the next thing.
Oh, he's definitely catching fire.
He is an absolute magnet on screen, man.
Yeah,
whatever version of him, I love.
What a revelation, man.
He was great. I mean, every line for 8 episodes he delivered. I did not one time get tired of him. Like, I did not expect to fall in love with this dude. I really love Mahershala Ali, but damn,
we're old and confused.
Seriously, there's some beauty. Like, he delivers it. Like, that's almost a cheesy line, but because he delivers it,
it lands.
With like an authority, or when he's in the car and he's like, "Oh, you're the lieutenant now," and he goes like, "Goddamn right I am." Like,
so good.
Yeah, there's an authority to it, man, and I absolutely fell in love with this character. Their relationship is great. The fact that they're able to, he says, crash over a couple nights. It just warms the goddamn heart.
Dude. And you know what? I was kind of scared because the music in the back, picked up, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
I will say, though, the music was kind of odd in this episode.
Yeah, because I feel like it didn't fit.
It felt jaggedy when I was like, I don't know if that's the right music we should be like playing.
The music producers are screwing around.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel like I don't know what they wanted me to feel with the music. So I was very confused at times with some of the stuff like that, where I was like, okay, all right, that's odd. But their relationship was great. The fact he finds his daughter basically again.
Well, yeah, we have. All right, well let's save for the ending.
Yeah.
So wait, are you kind of letting the exposition part of like the explanation? Do you kind of give it a pass because of like there was nothing else they could do to kind of give you answers?
I will probably give it more of a pass as time goes on. Right now, no, especially with like the bullshit of like the book falls open on the page.
Okay, we'll talk about that because that's one of my flaws.
Come on, man.
But what do you think of the first scene with Michael Rooker with Hoyt?
That was very interesting, and I think that set the tone for the rest of the movie. That this is, it's basically a movie. It set the tone that there is no grand scheme. He's basically some average Joe looking dude.
He really wasn't involved
sipping whiskey. He didn't know shit.
Yeah.
All right. So he didn't threaten him. Like, he didn't take him to his dungeon or some shit. Like, nothing crazy happened, right? Yeah. And I think that should have been the clear sign that this wasn't going to end in some crazy fireworks that perhaps the first season ended in, right?
I'm glad, because the whole season it's built up as the Hoyts are like this elite family, but it ends up it's
not an elite family. It's like 5 people.
Yeah, and they have regular, like, I don't want to say regular, but they have like what regular people want, which is like a family.
Yeah,
and they have your family's back.
Yeah. I thought the conversation between him and Mahershala wasn't that good, by the way. I thought it was a bit choppy at times. I thought they were giving each other way too much information, seeing as that they really aren't on the same space. I don't know. They were talking about their families really easily. I was like, well, that's some information.
Well, Rooker, Hoyt, could have he could afford to because he has like a string.
Yeah.
I don't know if Mahershala was pretty like comfortable. I'm like, dude, this guy has you by the throat.
Yeah, but I feel like very true. I completely hear you, and that's I guess to what I was saying. Just looking back on it, like the fact that it was filmed also on a cliff, where it looked like any one of them could have just thrown the other one off, but they don't.
That was a nice tease.
Yeah, there's little signs, I guess, here in the beginning. Excuse me, that there's nothing crazy going to happen. right?
Yeah.
There's not going to be an explosive finish to this in the sense of some crazy revelation, right? And I was cool with that. I was perfectly cool with that. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I'm telling you, there's a lot of good scenes here, and I'm glad they they wrapped up, and they wrapped up like some like scenes, and they just kind of explained what we were guessing. A lot of theories were correct. It kind of became apparent after like episode 5 and 6. I think. Okay, so by the time the book scene, remember?
Yeah.
So everything till then, I'm like, okay, I'm cool with. Like for me, I was cool with the exposition.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you get in the pass for me because there's no other way you could go about this. So everything was fine. So I'm just like, okay, there's 30 minutes left. There has to be something that's gonna happen.
Yeah, of course. I was happy in the sense that the movie again.
It's a movie.
Yeah, that they gave us so much awkward time left where I was like, oh, some shit has to happen. Like,
love it. It was very Leftovers-esque. Where you're just like, what?
Yeah. Like the Leftovers gave us a final episode where
we still don't know what the hell's going on.
Where it's like, damn, shouldn't that have been the final episode? But no, they give you more. Where I think that's a great step whenever a film does that, or a piece of entertainment where it goes through the motions of what you think, and then there's still more.
Yeah.
Right. There's more after. It's almost like an after credit scene. But yeah, go on.
So yeah, we got a little a taste of true convenience, which is what I call when True Detective has convenience in it. I'm gonna call it True Convenience. That's a good one. Can I get some props?
Put on a t-shirt.
Put on True Convenience, where the book. Here's the thing: if you want to drop the book, that's fine. But flip a couple pages or something, man.
I just wish he was just reading it, dude. Just read it.
Exactly. Just read it.
There's there's different ways to go about
but this. But it lands on the page that gives him
the name Mike, whatever his name is.
Arduin, whatever. I still don't know how to pronounce that effing name.
Arduin.
Whatever. No, and I'm just like, you know what? You didn't need it because I think. Well, they show Mike before that scene when they go to the church, and he bumps into Lucy, which is the daughter's name.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, right there.
Which is also the mom's name. So that was the first sign for me. I'm like, Lucy. I'm like, that's odd that's the name. And I paid attention to his name tag. I'm like, Mike. Hey, I was trying to remember. I'm like, is anybody's name Mike in this shit?
Well,
you know, at one point, I was actually, this was when I still believe we were going to get some crazy ending. I'm like, did they like leave their timeline, enter another timeline where he sees Lucy as a young girl or some shit? And
they kind of did.
I have no idea. Right, yeah, technically, yeah.
But that alone, because I saw that, I'm like, yo, that's Mike. And I'm like, okay, they had a kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, you didn't have to put the book scene.
You didn't need it
because it's just like because now you're kind of this might be dragging it, but now you're kind of disrespecting your audience. It's like you guys are too dumb to pick up that thing we just showed you.
Or you could have just teased it another way, man. You didn't need to literally. He could have just looked through some files or some shit. Like not the book, man.
The book, no, that hurt me. I'm just like, come on.
And then the ghost of his wife shows up, and she knows everything.
Yeah, apparently Amelia could have solved this case. Not long ago.
Amelia solved this case. I'm betting you if you just read the book, this would have been over years ago.
Yeah, but no, it's that thing with Amelia. That's fine. Whatever. You know, I'm just. It's.
Here's why I think that's. I still think it was too on the nose.
Of course it was.
It was way too much on the nose.
But we want to give this.
It's whatever. I do feel though. Here's why I feel this. I walk back from being too angry. Where. The final scene, right? So let's just get to the final scene.
Okay, what happens? Things to say about it.
Yeah. So he goes to the house where he believes this is where Julie is, and she's married to Mike, and they have a kid. And so he gets out of the car. He has his moment. He forgets where he is. Calls his son. By the way, this scene,
I loved it.
Mahershala Ali is a goddamn genius because in this scene you don't know if he's seriously forgetting or if he's fading or whatever the situation is.
He's on the goat wall.
Oh yeah,
he's on the suck wall. He's on the goat wall.
He's moved into the permanent suck wall.
Yeah,
he's there forever. Dwarf for me.
You're getting there.
He has to one more performance that I love and it's over. He's on the wall. Yep. So there's that scene, right? I think the fact that we don't get closure on that scene.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The fact we don't get closure on that scene takes me back to what the Amelia ghost tells him about stories not ending.
Yeah.
Right? And so it fits this idea of she basically tells him a story he wants to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's his subconsciousness telling him a story he wants to hear so he can be done with it. Mm-hmm. Maybe. I don't know, right? But it fits this this piece of thematic sort of analysis you can look into it, where it's this season is about stories. It's about what we tell of people, starting with what Amelia's job is. She's a storyteller, she's a novelist, right? And then ending with this thing where they never, again, whatever Junia says, that's a story. There's no corroboration.
Yeah.
Right? What Amelia says is his subconsciousness going wacko. We don't know if that's what happened.
Yeah.
Right? And he never gets closure for it. Right? I don't think he needs it.
He doesn't.
He doesn't, because he believes the story that he's told himself, I think, at that point in time where it's like, I think this is her, and I'm okay with that.
And I think it kind of like, because it's closure for us, because we're like, okay, Julie's alive. She's finally, she's actually alive.
Is she?
It could be. I think she's alive, personally. Right. You can take it or leave it. But you didn't, because what would a conversation with Julie do?
Yeah.
It's just you'll find out things. Maybe like she'll tell her side of the story, but
it doesn't do anything. Yeah,
it doesn't do anything.
And it's fun. It's a little bit fun that the son keeps.
Yeah, again, it's that thing where it's just like, all right, you don't know what he's going to do with it. So the legacy kind of lives on.
The story goes on. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He might give it to NYU girl. Who knows? But because I love the little like stare they have with each other.
It's
like
great.
Because it's like, do I know you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, a part of me was just like, bro, just remember,
it's so
please.
subtle. It is so tense.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just the way Mahershala walks.
She has got that grandpa strut down, dog.
Dude, it just fills the air with like, come on, man. Like, come on, move on. Yeah. But he takes his time. He drinks the water. Thank you, miss. Like, he looks at the garden. Oh, it's a nice day.
My son's going to pick me up.
Like, yeah, it's like he's just like around it. Like, oh, he's beating around the bush. Or you think he's finally going to say, he doesn't, right? And so, in a way, I think it's a great blank fire that the show does to us, and I personally enjoyed it.
This is why I really loved the last three scenes. The last string, I thought were brilliant.
Yeah,
and I thought they were so good that it made me kind of forget about the flaws.
Sure.
Because for me, that's the ending. Of course, it has its true convenience aspects.
Yeah.
It has flaws here and there. I would have preferred maybe that the episode ended with them on the porch. Because it's just like.
So what is that Vietnam scene to you?
So here's how I looked at it. So I love the porch scene, and then it's funny because the way they kind of like he envisions the bar scene, I'm like, something bad's gonna happen now because his face completely transforms. I'm like, what the hell's gonna go? What's going on? But it turns out that this is how I looked at it. Those three scenes represent coincidentally the happiest times of his life because he is with the people that he loves.
Yeah,
he's with Dorf. Thank God they're together, man.
I love him coming with the dog and
I know. It's
the
so
cutest
good,
shit, man. Yeah,
and then it's that with his whole family. Love the callback that the grandkids are on the bike. That's awesome.
Yeah,
a great shot, by the way. And then he has the bar scene where he kind of like apologizes to Amelia, and they go into heaven.
They decide to marry each other. Yeah, whatever the hell that.
Yeah, and then they go to when he goes to war, and my mom was like, "What?" I'm like, I think. The thing is, Ali Hayes.
Yes,
that's an important time for him because I think he was just like, okay, I have a purpose on this earth when he was at war.
Yeah.
So that's why like these three scenes kind of are like they represent the
pivotal moments
of his life and who he is and why he is.
Yeah, and that's what I think is sort of that full circle bit, right?
Yeah.
Like these are moments where he had to look within himself in order to make a decision to move forward, right? And, Amelia talks about it, how he decided to go to war so his mother could have money if he passed away, which is a terrible thing to hear. But him having to look within himself to decide to marry Amelia is unique because so often Wayne is seen as somebody who doesn't move proactively. He's always reacting to shit, right? To the point where he blames people for shit that really is his fault, right? I mean, take, for example, the way Harrison dies, right? They shoot him, and then his reaction is to say, well, it's not our fault, he forced us to. Or like when Tom kills himself, well, it's not our fault, he did it himself, right? So he's constantly the one he doesn't assess how his actions lead to things. So he's someone who does not reflect. And this goes even further back to the first episode when the trash, I forgot his name, the trash dude asks him, Woodard asks him, like, oh, don't you ever sit and think about why you do what you do? Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, I can't. Because if I will, I'm not going to be in a good spot, right?
Yeah.
So he's someone who does not look back at his life. But these are a couple moments where he does look back at his life and he makes the decision to move forward. So, I mean, the Vietnam scene can be interpreted a lot of different ways. I mean,
that was my take on it.
Yeah, I just think it's him literally looking back on who he was and then moving forward, which is funny because that's the earliest version of him. So I think there's a bit of commentary in this film about saying there's never one moment in your life where you look back, you're like, I'm going to be a better person now, and then that's it, you're a better person. Mm-hmm. No, it's this constant reflection you have to do. He does it several times. He does it in Vietnam. He does it in his 80s. He does it in his 90s. He does it as an old-ass man, right? Mm-hmm. So it's this constant... You need to understand who you are, what motivates you in order to move forward, I think, the right way in life, to be happy with it. So that's that full circle bit that we got in the cosmic horror genre in the first season, but we got it on a personal level in this season. So I thought that was very well done.
Yeah, a lot of well done things besides just...
Yeah, I mean, exposition aside and...
True convenience.
There's a lot in this season. There's too much. I want to say...
It picked up more in the last few episodes.
I don't remember watching the first season with this eye, so maybe we're being extra critical.
We should take a look at it and have like a true detective.
Probably and see sort of how it still settles down. Otherwise, I still think, bro. I think if I watch that first season again, McConaughey's gonna get on my nerves. That's like number one thing that's gonna happen. I'm like, shut the hell up, move on. But
love you, but come on.
All right, so season score. Here we are.
I really enjoyed the season.
Mm-hmm.
A personal favorite episode for me was episode 5, which is when it ends with them reuniting 25 years later.
Yep.
Really fell in love with these characters. Mm-hmm. There were flaws, but every season, I mean, not everything's Breaking Bad.
Yep. Maybe even Breaking Bad season 1 ain't Breaking Bad.
I don't know. I feel like people don't give it enough credit as it deserves, but that's just me. Dude, scores is what we thought.
We got to give a score. I mean, we've literally gone.
Yeah, well, what am I chatting
episode
about?
by episode.
I'm gonna give this season a solid 7.5.
Okay, that's yeah. So, what do you think you would have given season 1? Let me start with that.
Right now I have season 1 at a 9.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's right. I have season 1 at like an 8.8, and then this one.
You just can't round up, Ken, you piece of shit.
Doesn't deserve it.
All right, if you didn't have to look back at McConaughey's comments, would it be a 9?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, there's other things in the movie that are a bit like
movie
again. In the show that are a bit, dude. Like the fact, I mean, I don't remember it well enough to say exactly what, but I feel an 8.8 right now.
Okay.
It's in my like top.
Yeah, why are we acting like low score?
Yeah, 8.8 is pretty high. For a TV show, Jesus, dude, 8.8, that means for 8 episodes, you kept it at some crazy range of like an 8.5 or a 9. That's incredible. But no, I think this season, I felt like... a 7.2-ish, 7.3. I'm going to go 7.3.
Okay.
I just feel there's key moments in this mystery that they choose to be very lazy about in order to go about explaining characters and motives and etc. And even then, there's some characters where you're like, okay, they could have got more space, like Roland, like Amelia. We could have got a little bit more from them. Mm-hmm. But it's very focused on Wayne, so in a sense, I understand that. But when you do have 8 episodes and you're not going to make it about the case, there has to be a little bit more about the other characters, I feel. The case overall, I just think, I don't mind the ending. I don't mind it. I just feel the delivery was a bit underwhelming. And as you say, true conveniences. I mean, episode 6, jeez.
Yeah, those were
loaded with true conveniences. And those are key moments. They're key moments in sort of where characters end up. And so to force characters to die off for just convenience sake, I'm not too happy with that. But the standouts, Mahershala Ali, obviously, Stephen Dorff, absolutely loved him.
And Carmen.
Yeah, Carmen, I forgot her last name.
She did really well. Dude, there should be nominations across the board. And if Dorff gets snubbed, I'm starting to riot.
I don't think so. I think Dorff is absolutely getting nominated for supporting actor because he did a phenomenal job.
Dude, to stand toe to toe with Ali, because everyone expected. I mean, everyone knows Ali's going to do his thing.
Yeah.
But when
he won a Academy Award as this was airing. Carmen, it's EJOGO. I'm not gonna pronounce it.
I mean, you speak Spanish.
Yeah, Scoot McNairy was great throughout most of the season.
Yes, underrated.
So it was, from an acting perspective, very well done. Writing, I thought, was really, really... Dialogue, I'll say, was really good. The writing, touchy here and go a little bit. Direction, for the most part, was on point. Given, Sans, the constant cutting back and forth, felt like a Bohemian Rhapsody scene for a couple times. Terrible cutting
I told you.
But I did like the bigger philosophy of it. I did that they left us with something more to talk about, which was great. Yet they finished off the mystery, which I think is difficult to pull off. Finishing a mystery and leaving you to talk about something, not always easy to do. So there's my 7.3. You know what? I might bump it up. Let's go 7.8. I'm going to leave it at 7.8.
What?
Yeah, I'm leaving it at 7.8.
You bumped it up 0.5?
Yeah, because I just said all those things. Yeah, 7.8. Okay. I feel like I should say things before I give a score.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense. 7.8.
Right,
there we go.
I give 7.5.
It's Christmas. Merry Christmas.
That's true.
Only 10 more months.
Well, next stop, Game of Thrones.
What do you mean Game of Thrones?
Next stop is Game of Thrones.
Oh, show-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think I meant?
I don't know. Like, next episode, we're going to talk about Game of Thrones. Anyway, thanks for chatting.
Yeah.
This is a fun season. I'm sad it ended. To be honest with you, I fell in love with these characters, and the fact we had to wait every week to catch up with them.
It was a nice fresh.
It was fun, man. The fact it was like a 2-month journey. It was fun. Can't wait for the next season. As always,
he has an idea apparently.
Yeah, I'm sure he does, and I'm sure they'll greenlight it.
He has a contract. He has to.
Yeah, I mean, and they did well enough this season to earn another one.
Is True Detective come to New York? I don't. I heard
don't say our neighborhood. We'll get killed. Somebody will track us down. Thanks for hanging with us. As always, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube. Leave comments. We
lost a subscriber already. This
crazy. leave emojis, whatever it is, anything you want, really. Thanks for the ears. As always, till next week. Peace.
Deuces.